As I've said, guys, this account will always increase at cost price. It will always decrease at cost price. Okay. May I continue? Then we've got accumulated depreciation account. By now you should be able to define what accumulated depreciation is. This account, guys, on the other hand, it increases on the credit side. It increases on the credit side, and it will increase by the depreciation amount. It is sort of like a contra asset account because it is used to reduce the value of your asset. It is simply a valuation allowance account. Yes.
So what's the difference between negative assets and liability? Because when I read it, they said that negative assets accumulated depreciation falls under negative assets.
I don't want to say there isn't anything that is called a negative asset, but you need to understand that accumulated depreciation, it is an account that we open up where we record all our depreciation from when the asset was purchased. So basically, it is used to reduce the value of your asset. Note that if your vehicle was worth 500,000 rand, because of accumulated depreciation, it will not be worth 500,000 rand because accumulated depreciation reduces the value of that asset. So it is sort of like some teachers refer to it as a negative asset, and I don't like calling it a negative asset. I rather call it a valuation allowance because it helps us value the asset that we have.
So please repeat the accumulated depreciation thing.
It increases on the credit side, and it will be increased by the depreciation amount. It increases on the credit side, and it will be increased by the depreciation amount. It will increase on the credit side, and it will increase by the depreciation amount. Depreciation amount. What depreciation amount now? Meaning that this account will actually decrease on which side, guys? It will simply decrease on the debit side. And it will be decreased by this, okay? It will be decreased by the accumulated depreciation of the asset sold, okay? It will be decreased by the accumulated depreciation of the asset sold. How? There it is over there. It will be decreased by the accumulated depreciation of the asset sold.
So when it depreciates, you report it on the credit, right?
When it depreciates, correct.
And then what's on the debit?
On the debit is the accumulated depreciation of the asset we sell.
Oh, so it's already sold, so we don't own an asset anymore.
Yes, so it needs to go. The accumulated depreciation of that asset also needs to go. When we get rid of the asset, the accumulated depreciation that relates to that asset must also go. Don't worry about that, we'll deal with it next year. For this year, we're going to be just focusing on buying assets. We will not be selling any assets for the current year. But next year it's there, so.
At least we know now.
Okay, so when you buy a car, how much does it like depreciate when you drive it off the
Um, That is very subjective. However, I told you about a story of a guy that bought, was it Renault Megan? And what happened is, immediately after driving off, there was a problem with the key, with the software that was installed on the key, and he couldn't start that car anymore. That's why I always discourage people from buying Renault, because that's a nonsense of a car. Okay, um,
Which person?
Renault. And what happened is, or Renault, um, he tried to return the car, and they wanted to decrease the value of the car by around 40,000 rand. And he's like, he drove from the garage to his house. And you know when you want to show off, and then you try to start the car and it refused to start. And then they spoke about ordering the key. Where does it come from? Is it made in France? I'm not sure where it's made. And they had to order the key from there. Not for 50 grand. If he wanted to return it, I think he bought it for 450,000 rand. And if he wanted to return it, they were going to give him 400,000 rand back. And note that he only drove it from the garage to his house, and that's it.
It's something that they say that the moment it gets out of the place where you put the car, then
It depreciates, the value just goes down. Except for GTI and other cars like your Ford ST, your A45, those type of cars, they don't depreciate that much in value. I know that if you want to sell a 2013 GTI, you can still sell it for 400,000 rand, and you might have bought it for 450,000 rand.
why?
I think it's because GTI, it's in demand. Everyone wants to buy a GTI, so the value doesn't depreciate that much.
So when they had to order the key, you have to pay for the key as well.
Unfortunately, I think he had to pay for the key, but he ended up selling it. Because imagine you've got a car and then it stays in your garage for 3 months, you're not using it, and you bought it for you to be able to go to work, and you couldn't use it for the first 3 months. So he actually sold it after getting the key. Sure.
Isn't it that after, I don't know how many years it is, and the car becomes essentially doesn't the price start going up again?
I'm not sure how long it takes, but I also want to buy a vintage Golf. I think it was Golf 1. It cost around 150,000 rand. And for 150,000 rand, you can get a brand, not really new Polo, but you can get a Polo that has traveled for like 35,000 kilometers.
Because my dad has a BM and I think it's 25 years old and its price is going up.
Which BM is that? Because I know Mr. Stoller is a fan. Mr. Stoller is a fan. Okay. The only BM that I like, I think it's E90. I don't like BMW. Oh, and M2 as well. M2 is very nice. Okay.
Even me, I don't have BMW, sir.
But then you've got Audi.
Pardon?
You've got Audi.
I've got Audi.
Yes.
No, my mom has Audi, not me.
And it's under one umbrella. No, Audi is under one umbrella with VW, if I'm not mistaken. And you realize that A3 looks exactly the same as Golf 7. From the back, even the indicators are pretty much the same. It's one group, guys. Just like under Clicks. Under Clicks, there are a lot of stores that fall under Clicks, okay? Excuse me? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, yes. There's something solo as well, I think. Solo something. It falls under Clicks.
So buy me an MG.
What?
Buy me an MG.
When am I buying it?
No, buy me one.
I must buy you one.
So
Wow.
when you get a car, you must all get in.
Yes.
The ticket for a ride, you must take it to somewhere, then pay the bill, you know.
Wow, guys. Wow. Okay. Are you guys making fun of me? I'm just a teacher, okay? Depreciation.
So when you reach, you must all have data. Like, must buy it.
Enough, guys. Then we've got nominal account section, okay? Nominal account section, guys, what I want you to understand about this account section is that it records only your expenses, okay? So depreciation is your expense. Just like any other expense, your depreciation will increase on which side? Guys, those definitions, we did them earlier this year and I told you they are very important. On which side do your expenses increase? No, guys, expenses increase on the debit side, okay? Your expenses increase on the debit side and they decrease on the credit side. Are you playing Explorer here? It is an expense. It therefore increases on the debit side.
So can I leave my textbook and stuff as well if we're gonna leave the because
You can leave it at home for now. I don't know. The thing is, guys, I don't like using your textbook. I rather use past papers. Like these examples that I'm giving you are from past papers. Okay. But unfortunately, because I was new 2 years back, they said no when I told them that I want to use my own notes. So I've just been buying these textbooks for nothing because I don't use them.
So can we leave them and then when you want us to read them?
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. May I continue for now?
So both assets and expenses increase on the debit side.
Yes, it's assets, expenses, and drawings. Remember, it was DEX, if I'm not mistaken. Drawings, expenses, and no, DEA. Yes, something like that. I hate using click and date, but you guys prefer it, so there's nothing I can say.
So assets or debit and credit is
Credit, income, credit, income, liabilities, and capital.
So kuzwela bathi xhosa izophinda bazoyisusa ezi-language.
What?
Matrix.
Because we've had problems this year with the C's, eh? There was a Corona, Chiefs, and clicks. Ouch! Chiefs fans kept quiet right then.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. This was just a year of the C's: Corona, Chiefs, and clicks. Asikakhohlwa, Chiefs idliwe. When they talk about never say never, guys, nothing is impossible, hey? 13 points lead, still lose, huh? They say just because you sit in front, it's not guaranteed that you can pass. Look at Chiefs.
Oh yes.
Ouch.
Oh yes.
Look at Chiefs, a good example, eh? That good child. They say, guys, Steve Compella said, a bird that stays at the top of a tree will always attract stones. And that's what happened. Shangy Gate. Down. Achashim.
no, it's a slingshot.
Okay, may I continue, guys? Alright, this is the example that we spoke about yesterday. Now, yesterday, guys, we said our financial year starts when? It starts on the 1st of March, but which year? 2018. And it will end on the 28th of Feb, but it will end on the 28th of Feb 20 what? It will end on the 28th of Feb 2019. Something happened during the year. What happened? Vehicle, huh? Was it on the 1st of September, if I'm not mistaken? So on the 1st of September, we bought another vehicle, and the cost price of that vehicle was how much? It was 500,000 rand, and that happened on the 1st of September 2018. Okay, how many months into towards the end of the financial year?
9.
October, November, December.
No, you don't count from October because it was bought on the 1st of September.
6,
So is it 6?
I think.
So it'll be 6 months. I believe you. I hope you're right. Okay. Because it's September, October, November, December, January. Yes, because it's on the 1st. If it was on the 30th, then we're not going to count September. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I want to address this now before we get to a later stage. Guys, we depreciate an asset for as long as we are doing what? Using it. Now, here's the thing that always surprises me with students. You guys start depreciating this asset. This asset is worth how much? It is worth 500,000. You start depreciating it from here. From the 1st of March until the end of Feb, how many months are we talking about? 12. Can you depreciate this vehicle that we just bought for 12 months? Why? Because we only use it for 6 months. And you can't depreciate it over this period here. Why can't I depreciate it over that period? Because I didn't have it. That's why I say, guys, if accounting becomes difficult, try to use your common sense. How do you depreciate something that you don't have? You see? Shkush, shkush. That imaginary friend of yours is in here forever now. They said, you've got an imaginary friend. Who is that in Jabula? It's my imaginary friend. Ekasi, they'll be like, Bakuloy. Yeah, imaginary friend. Now he's thinking about imaginary cars. Did you guys hear that Elon Musk is the 3rd richest person in the world, and he's the first African-born person that has been there? I think. Sorry? But he was born here. Wasn't he born in Pietermaritzburg? I think he went to, sorry? Pretoria. And then he went to which school? Didn't they say it's Pietermaritzburg Boys or something?
Boys,
Yes.
Springs boys.
Pietermaritzburg. Either say it's Rondebosch, the one in Cape Town. I'm not sure where he went to. And he's not the only one. There is also another doctor, an Indian doctor from Durban. He's one of the richest people in America. And the other one it's a Chinese guy from Cape Town as well. So South African schools are not that bad. I know that when you... What? Yeah, that guy has money. But there's a guy that everyone doesn't talk about. His name is, for as long as you're doing accounting and you're into finance, you must know the guy. It's Warren Buffett, all right? He's the investing guy. I don't know how these richest people lists work, because that guy is filthy rich. He's got shares everywhere at Microsoft. So how do you become richer than him when he invests in your company? He's like invested in every company.
Yeah, but I get it. Those like rich guys like have like other things. So for like example, Elon Musk, there's Neuralink, there's OpenAI, there's SpaceX, there's Tesla,
But you might find that Warren Buffett is one of the shareholders there.
Yeah, but
so unless we say we separate the rich and the wealthy, because Warren Buffett will never fail. He's too big to fail. When we say something is too big to fail, we mean that he's too big to go down. He'll never be poor. And that's a fact. And he's just investing, guys, in people's... so he helps you build your business and he just invests in it. Some of the businesses, he builds small businesses. When they're big, he sells them. Guys, you can make money. A lot of people don't know this. You can actually start a business like Batu. Batu's shares are going up. I saw their sneakers are actually very nice. Okay, they're actually going up. And these guys, all they did was just to sell those sneakers at taxi ranks. And you probably look at them like, what's wrong with these guys? Now, guys, they are getting the money.
Have you seen one from his house?
No, I haven't. So you know him as well.
I know.
A lot of
It's not
people
exactly-
don't know him.
It's like, they
Surprisingly.
say his house is like worth 150K. Yeah, like he's worth like 90 something billion dollars.
But as well, he said that his money, I think his child, he only has a girl who's at Harvard University, if I'm not mistaken. And he said he's just going to give her like 1% of his wealth. Obviously, the girl, guys, is at Harvard University. She'll never be poor.
Like, when you say
She will
1%,
never
that's
be
like
poor.
$1 billion.
That's the thing. She'll never be poor. Guys, sometimes a lot of you, there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being wealthy means that whatever happens, you'll never be poor. So there's a guy that probably only drives a Toyota Corolla here, but his bank account is loaded. And when you are busy there, vroom, vroom, pa, pa, pa. All right, guys, this is what's happening here. We bought this car right at the middle of the year, so basically we have had it for how long? For 6 months. In total, at the end of the year, it says that we had cars that are worth how much? 1 million, all right? I don't know where that line comes from. Sorry for that. We've got cars that are worth 1 million rand. Now, those cars that are worth 1 million rand, guys, that is the balance at the end of their financial year. But the question is, did we have 1 million cars at the beginning of the financial year?
1 million.
Worth of cars at the beginning of the year? Yes, why?
Because it wasn't recorded.
Because it wasn't recorded. If it was recorded, it will be different, okay? It means that at the beginning of the year, we're going to have how much? 500,000 rand. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, in this case, obviously, guys, we're going to have 1 million over there. Okay, I hope I made enough zeros there, which is 1 million, okay? So we had 1 million worth of cars at the beginning of the year. We bought another car during the year. At the end of the year, on the 28th of Feb, how much will we have as a value of cars? You tell me. At the end of the year, what will be the value of our cars in total? It's 1,500,000. We good? 1,500,000. Yeah. Americans are just weird people, I can tell you. And that's what we're going to have, guys. Okay. Now, you get to the real thing. First of all, I'm going to start with my vehicles account. When is the beginning of the financial year again? 1st of March 2018. So you're going to write there 2018, and then you're going to write March. It'll be the 1st, and then you're going to have balance, and it will be balance brought down. My balance brought down will be 1 million rand. Any questions? No. Yes?
So like balance brought down is like an introduction.
It's sort of like your opening balance. Yes. It will always start with an opening balance, and it must be given to you. But you need to pay attention to whether anything happened during the year. So you start with the timeline first to see how much you have at the beginning of the year and how much you have at the end of the year, and figure out what you bought during the year. Guys, if the adjustment says we only bought we bought a vehicle worth 500,000 rand during the year, what do you conclude? What can you assume? We bought a vehicle worth 500,000 during the year. The balance that you are given, will it be the closing balance or will it be the opening balance? It will be closing, guys. Because they didn't specify that this transaction was not recorded. If they don't specify that it was not recorded, you assume that it was recorded. All the time, yes. For as long as you're doing accounting, remember that if they don't say that it was not recorded, you must assume that it has been recorded. How did we buy the new vehicle? When did we buy it again?
1st of September.
So I'm not going to change the year, it will be the 1st of September. Did we buy it for cash or on credit? Did they say it's for cash? Read there. Did they mention how we bought it? They didn't specify. Now, since they didn't specify, guys, you're going to write bank. That is if you bought it for cash, or you're going to write what? Creditors. And that is if you, yes, creditors control. And that is if you bought it on credit. And obviously the other one will be in the CPJ, creditors control will be in the CJ, and the amount will be 500,000.
So we write both.
Yes, we write both, unless you've been told that it was bought on credit. Yes?
No, if it's in the test and they don't specify how they bought it, you must write both.
You must write both. And then you just close this off. Yes. His question is, like right now, they didn't specify how that vehicle was bought. So you write both. But had they said that vehicle was bought for cash, we are going to write bank and CPJ. That's it. Yes, it is creditors control. Bank or creditors control. I don't have enough space, unfortunately. Who's not here? Umulemo and Lovoyo. Is it just those two? Happiness. Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Did you hear about that? Mark Zuckerberg, they don't put his house. He put his house.
But he loves showing off. I don't like him. Typical South African. He loves showing off. He loves showing off.
He bought his house for $30 million, and then he bought like surrounding houses for $10 million just in case he don't have payments.
Wow. And he said he doesn't want to be associated with his former school. Do you know that? And he doesn't want to be associated with South Africa. He actually paid, apparently he paid his former school never to mention that he studied there. It's like you, Mikey, being rich and saying to Veritas, I'm going to give you 2 million rand or 2 billion rand. Don't mention that I studied here. And obviously Veritas College will never say, no, we don't care about you. But at the same time, at parents' opening will be like, Mikey studied here. Who's going to record?
Is it possible for any, if they can say on the beginning of all the journals that everything was bought with cash?
You assume that everything that is in the trial balance was bought for cash. Okay? It was paid for. And we'll get to that later on when we do all the other adjustments. Now guys, here's the thing. Once you have done this, it means that your total here will be 1,500,000. Latita, I'm addressing your questions here. So basically that is the total. This is how you prepare the general ledger. Yes, Latita? Do you have any questions? You still good?
But it's still too early,
Is this fine so far?
But what about that other general ledger we did, like the simple one with the capital and
I don't think you'll ever get that anymore. But you will get things like this, okay? This one, guys, it will be there this year, it will be there next year. So you need to make sure you understand it. And then we're going to have here 2019. But I'm going to write what? I'm going to write Feb, and it will be the 28th, and I'm going to have balance and it will be carried down. We are carrying this balance down. All right, and the amount will be 1,500,000, and the total will still be 1,500,000. This balance, you're gonna bring it down. Hi.
Okay.
And we're gonna have March.
So there's no place.
Yeah.
I know, please create it. It's the first, and then you're gonna have balance.
2019.
Yes. Carry down, and the amount will be 1,500,000. Yes. 2019, 1st of March 2019.
Sir,
Oh, where ma?
so is it
Hi.
1 million the same amount again?
Yes, yes,
Sir,
yes.
why do you carry down? What is
Carry down, it simply means that that will be my balance when I start my new month, the next month. Okay.
1.5.
Yes, it's 1.5. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's actually refusing to write, but I'll just leave it as it is. Alright guys, and then I'm going to do accumulated depreciation on vehicles. Please write next to accumulated depreciation on vehicles that this will always be an opening balance.
next to the room is what?
Accumulated depreciation on vehicles. This will always be an opening balance in your question paper, right? Let me just go back here. This will always be an opening balance. This will also be an opening balance. Those two will always be your opening balances, okay?
The last two.
Yes, accumulated depreciation on equipment and accumulated depreciation on vehicles.
So vehicles, their cost price is close in balance.
It is close in balance unless the adjustments say otherwise.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys. Hey, Dayton.